Hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles' online service. My name is Todd Alsop. I'm your musical guest for this weekend, and I'm going to kick things off with some Bonnie Raitt. She cries at night and she calls me on the phone. She's babies everywhere she goes, and she wants one of her own. She's waited long enough, she says, and still can't decide. Pretty soon she'll have to choose, and then it tears her up inside. She's scared to run out of time. She my phone to get it on, and I watch their bodies change. I know they see the same in me, and it makes us both feel strange. No matter how you tell yourself, it's what we all go through. Those lies get pretty hard to take when they're staring back at you. Scared to run out of time. When did the choices get so hard, with so much more at stake? Life gets mighty precious when there's less of it to waste. Hey, Just when I thought I'd had enough, just when I thought I'd had enough, and all my tears were shed. No promise left unbroken, there were no painful words unsaid. You came along and showed me I can leave it all behind. You opened my heart again, and then much to my surprise, I found love. Love in the nick of time. Love in the nick of time. Love in the nick of time. I found love, baby. Love in the nick of time. Time, yeah. I found love in the nick of time. Love in the nick of time. Love in the nick of time. Yeah, love in the nick of time. Love in the nick of time.
Good morning.
Well, good morning to you. How are you?
I would say good afternoon to you, I believe.
Good afternoon. It is afternoon here, yes.
Such the nick of time, right? Time.
Yes.
As you were singing that fabulous song, I was thinking of time being such an both elusive and human-made construct. Not only is it afternoon, we say that because afternoon is afternoon relative to the measurement of time, right? in our system of measuring time. It's morning here on the West Coast, you're on the East Coast. And even though you're in a different city than you were last time, it's still the same time there. And as I was watching you, I have the screen in front of me that's for the camera, screen to the right of me to monitor what's going on, and the screen on the wall that actually has us showing YouTube live. There's a delay in that. So but what's interesting about that is that it speaks to what we believe as time and the importance of time, and at the same time how it's all an illusion anyway.
Do you know what that made me think of just now?
What's that, Todd?
It made me think of the Elton John lyric. Well, Mona Lisas and Mad Hatters, sons of bankers, sons of lawyers, turn around and say good morning to the night.
I love it. I love it. Good morning to the Todd also, not the night.
Exactly.
So Todd, just quick question. Are you taking your show to New York, the Elton John show? Didn't you just do an Elton show in Provincetown?
That's a great question. I am in New York now. I just moved back from Provincetown yesterday, and I have a month where I'm going to breathe a little bit and work on getting things booked. I had an amazing summer. Both of the shows did really, really well, and I'm going to take this month to do a little bit of traveling and get things booked. And the plan is to bring the show to New York. Yes.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations. And
I'm
happy to have you here with us today, and welcome. And we'll chat some more. And I know you have some more fabulous music planned for us today.
I'll see you in a little bit. Thank you.
Sounds good. Good morning, everyone, or hello, I should say, to everyone. And good morning if you're in a time zone where morning is the moment. And if you're in a time zone where that's not how it's measured, let's let this moment where we are beginning to move into our Sunday celebration service as be the dawning of a new day, which is how morning is considered to be. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and I welcome you into our spiritual community here in our virtual space known as Technologies Space. We are both on Zoom Live and on YouTube Live. And so no matter where you may be joining us from, let's all know that that's the perfect and right place for you to be in this moment as we honor and acknowledge the totality of the divine that's being fully expressed by means of you and by means of me. And so it's a joy to come together in this virtual space and to honor and acknowledge you and the power itself, and welcome you to this time together. It is Sunday, September 17th in the year 2023, and let's begin our service as I place on the screen our slides to start the day, or our day, we shall say, right? So we are the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and our vision statement is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. It is indeed my invitation to each of us today to open up to this power that exists within us and allow it to bring forth through us a remembrance of who and what we are because of it. And that provides the spiritual awakening, that remembrance. And it's from there that we can find ourselves the opportunity to be more empowered. We are a spiritual community, and we do like to begin our day in a spiritual practice type of way, and that is through the act of namaste, which is a Sanskrit word that means I bow to thee. It also means, in its most modern incarnation, that the power that exists within me, that I know exists within all beings of life, honors and acknowledges that which exists within you. We see on the screen this visual aid of an animated being that represents the you, the me, and as they open up, they feel this infusion and awareness of the light of life, the purity of gold as it shows there, which represents the highest of energy forms. And it's through the receipt of that there is an opening up, as you see there, an inhalation, and through the exhalation, bending forward and sharing that to others. So let's do that together as we take a deep breath in, putting our hands in prayer position. And as we exhale, centering and anchoring ourselves, let's move forward, saying together, Namaste. The power of the divine that exists in me honors and acknowledges that within you. And I receive that which is within you, knowing that it strengthens and guides me to continue to express myself on my journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. As a community, we welcome all races, all religions, all countries of origin, all sexual orientations, all genders, all abilities, all expressions of life. We stand with you and want you to know that just as you are, you're safe here with us. As Dr. Walker, our founding minister, used to say, and I love for us to affirm together, we welcome one and we welcome all. We come together each morning, each Sunday morning, to practice the philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the science of mind. We use that as the core foundational teachings here in our community, with the essence of those teachings being that there's only one power that exists in the universe. It is a power for good, and that you and I individualize this power. We do so through our thoughts, through our beliefs, through our actions, through our reactions and interactions with the very thing itself. We just acknowledged in our opening ritual of Namaste that power exists within all beings. And so as we acknowledge that within ourselves, we also acknowledge it with others and look at it metaphorically as a light that we each share. As we go deeper into this philosophy, faith, and way of life, we look at it more as we're all connected at the level of mind, M-I-N-D. And we are connected through that power that gives us the opportunity to think, to emote, to express, and to experience and express the intelligence that it is. We use it, once again, through our thinking, the way that we show up in life, and the way that we honor each other, the way that we live life, in essence. The reason that that's important is because we believe that we live in a universe that's governed by spiritual law, meaning that the very thing itself, as being an infinite power, also is governed by law. Why that matters is because it responds to us by corresponding to the state of being that we are, and provides to us an experience or an effect or a condition, or often known what is called a demonstration in our life. Some might look at that as being potentially punitive, but it's actually quite rewarding, not that it rewards us, but that because it's consistently and constantly through its nature of renewal, providing us with the opportunity to think anew, to act anew, to reflect anew, to give and receive anew. And it continues in its most impersonal way to respond to us by corresponding. So now let's look at our vision statement through this lens of supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Our journey on this planet is indeed to become more in tune with that thing that is, and to use it intentionally, consciously, purposefully, with wisdom and decisively. And in so doing, that awakens within us an awareness and acceptance of the thing itself. And as we open up to that, we then expand in consciousness, reflecting more of that which it is. We now move into our morning ritual called Calling into the Light. Typically, I would play music underneath this, and I'm hesitant to do that because Zoom is acting a little bit funky these days, and as we do that, it eats my screen and it takes it away. So let's just hear the underground piano music playing as if we know it, as we move into this ritual called Calling in the Light. And in a great sense of reverence, look at the candles that are flickering on the flame, flickering as a flame on the screen. And remember that we perform this ceremony, this ritual, to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. The purpose of this ritual is to draw into our gathering this morning a more conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we each possess as complete expressions of the divine. I invite us all to look at the flickering flames on the screen right now and open ourselves up to a remembrance of this light that exists within all of us. Let's look at it as the healing flame of God's eternal love, and know that it is that which we have not only imagined and aligned with, but have awakened within us through this ritual. And let's shed this light as a holy light onto all that are in our presence, both now and as we move about our day through this service, the week, and the time ahead, to remember that at all times we are indeed one with God. Todd's going to come on the screen and take us through our song, Calling in the Light. I invite you to sing along in the privacy of your own home, as it's a call and response song, and the lyrics will be on the screen. Todd?
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. Now you'll sing with me. I am love, I am peace in my heart. I am free, I am spirit, I am soul. All together we are all calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light of love. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
Thank you. What a declaration, and so it is. Right? For those of us that have been in this teaching and around it for so many years, I think we forget to remember the power with those words. And so it is, that declaration that whatever we declare, whatever we put behind the two words I am, that the creative law of life is moving into the manifestation. It's bringing that forth into experience for us. And so that once we say, and so it is, we are to open up and be ready to receive that good as it's coming towards us. So, Todd, you've had a fun summer, I know. What would be the highlights in a growth manner for you as a result of the summer?
There were a lot of them.
Pick three. No.
Well, I think I'll give you one, and it's sort of like it's a little bit windy to get there, but I'll keep it brief. Which is just I've been going to Provincetown now for 5 full seasons, and it's grown a lot over the years. But with growth, and I think professional growth, comes more responsibility, and I had to learn some difficult professional lessons just about how to show up and how to ask, I hired my first employee this summer. I hired like an assistant for the first time ever in my life because, I realized that I couldn't come in like a, crazy artist tornado and ask a bunch of people to help me last minute. And I think, so the overall big sort of like takeaway was like, this was the first year that I felt like I took myself very seriously as a business. Do you know what I mean? That it was like, I learned how to show up as a professional, and from like the marketing plan for the show to the execution of like how we would, show up for the show, close down the show. And all of that was, it probably doesn't sound that exciting, but it felt like a big step forward for me.
Well, it doesn't matter whether it does or doesn't sound exciting. If you can see in your body language and as you lit up when you finished telling your story there, how that is of importance. I think from my perspective, what I'm witnessing is that is an experience, an outward manifestation of your finding your personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, right?
Certainly.
You tuned into your power, you used your power, you used wisdom on that journey, you became more empowered, and as a result of that, more confident as a musician, shining your light.
Indeed. I like how you keep throwing the word power out.
Right, I know.
We're segueing,
There's
aren't we?
great power in music and love. All right, take it away with our next song. Anything you want to say about it before you take off?
There is. I told Keith during the sound check, I was like, I'm feeling chatty today, so I might talk more than I usually do. But thank you, Cheryl. Cheryl just said congratulations. we're talking about power. I was making fun of Keith because he was throwing out the word power, and I'm about to sing a song called "The Power of Love," which of course is like a very iconic '80s pop jam. And Keith told me the theme for the show this week, and this was the first song that came to mind because I've always wanted to cover it. I think it's such a great song. It kind of gets overlooked because we think of it as, it's tied to Back to the Future, and so anyway, I really wanted to learn this song, and I learned it, and I'm going to do it acoustically, and I just think it's such a beautiful song. So here it is. Here's The Power of Love.
The power of love is a curious thing. Make a one man weep, make another man sing. Change your heart to a little white dove. More than a feeling, there's the power of love. Tougher than diamonds, rich like cream. Stronger and harder than a bad girl's dream. Make a bad one good, make a wrong one right. Power of love will keep you home at night. And it don't take money, it don't take fame. Don't need no credit card to ride this train. It's strong and it's sudden and it's cruel sometimes, but it might just save your life. That's the power of love. First time you feel it, it might make you sad. Next time you feel it, it might make you mad. You'll be glad, baby, when you are found. That's the power that makes the world go round, yeah. And I don't need money, I don't take fame. Don't need no credit card to ride this train. It's strong and it's sudden and it's cruel sometimes, but it might just save your life. They say that only love is fair, but you don't care. But you know what to do when they get hold of you. With a little help from above, you'll feel the power of love. And it don't take money, it don't take fame. Don't need a credit card to ride this train. It's strong and it's sudden and it's cruel sometimes, but it might just save your life. It don't take money, it don't take fame. Don't need a credit card to ride this train. Stronger than diamonds and stronger than steel. You won't know nothing until you feel the power of love. Feel the power of love. You feel the power of love.
Profound. It is, and fabulous.
I love it when you find songs that are sort of like, oh, I know that song, and then I like sort of like reinventing it in a way that's sort of like, no, listen to the lyrics, they're really good.
Well, the lyrics are really good, and also the fact that I don't know that I actually ever really heard the term Back to the Future in that way.
Is it in there? Did I just sing the words Back to the Future?
The movie Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, I don't know why those dots just connected in a different way to me.
Oh, yeah, it was like the credit theme song to Back to the Future.
I know, but we've been talking about time, and then if you really...
Oh, I got you. I'm with you. See, we're right on the nose today.
Right? About participating in that that is measured by time, but really that which is using that which is timeless, right? So, all right, buddy. See you in a bit. Thanks. You. Which is a great lead-in, of course, into our message for today. And the title for my talk, as we continue in our theme of peace, power, beauty, and joy, PPB and J, is to bring forth the things that bring us joy in life. The title of this message today is Believe It, Dream It, See It. I want to take us back to some fundamentals of the teachings of the science of mind today. And it's my goal to, not that we don't every Sunday, last Sunday was fantastic in the foundational, fundamental ways, in a different way, in a more free-form way. Today I'd like to present this message for us to begin to just look at once again as what this teaching and our role in it is. It's my goal to stimulate each of us today to address in our own mind, which of course really is the only place we can address it, what it is that we actually believe it, the power to be. And of course, Todd just saying the power of love, and we do believe that the power called God, the thing itself, is indeed a power of love. Love, as Dr. Ernest Holmes defines it, and let's hear this anew right now, the self-givingness of spirit whose desire is to create more of itself out of itself, and the only way it can do that is through you and through me. While all that is unfolding, it is indeed an infinite power of creativity. It is the impersonal source of all life. It seems contradictory to think that we are to believe it, dream it, and see it, and that it's to do that thing through us, and yet it's impersonal. But let's look at that a little bit differently. Thank God it's literally impersonal, because imagine if it had to be personal to all of us, how taxing. And that way it would need to then have personality, so that it could filter through what works for each one of us. But instead it's impersonal, and therefore it's just an energy that is governed by a law, meaning that it just then responds to us by corresponding to that which we are. It feels personal because we're an individualized state of the thing itself. It shows up, if you will, in a way that's reflective of how we commune with it. Last week we really looked at that concept of communing with it in a conversational way with Jamie Lula and I, and it was really wonderful and touching, and it began to remind us that it's not only about how we commune, mean stay in community with the thing itself, but how we honor and acknowledge that within each one of you. I've become so acutely aware at this stage in my life how important it is for that communing to take place in my spiritual growth, and to remember at all times that I'm called to do spiritual practice. This past 2 weeks, I was with a counseling client who was asking me, how would I define spiritual practice? And I'm going to share that with you off the cuff like I did with him, which I believe spiritual practice is that which we do intentionally that aligns us with the thing itself and strengthens within us our awareness of it. Yeah, we're going to let that be what it is. And from another lens point, it's about strengthening our faith as it. You know, Dr. Ernest Holmes tells us that it's important to have a faith of God, not a faith in God. And I've learned in my life that both when my life seems to be out of whack and out of balance, but also at other times, it's about this continual spiritual practice, not necessarily just meditation and not necessarily just spiritual mind treatment, but other activities that awaken that within me. This morning on my walk with Sweeney, there was a squirrel that had run up the tree, which is intentionally taunting her. Sweeney, by the way, is my four-legged spiritual offspring, for those of you that know. And the squirrel literally crossed its hands and laid on the branch with its face down on its hands, torturing her. It was an intention of using its power. No doubt in my mind that this animal was using their intelligence to torture, taunt, communicate. And there was a response by Miss Thing herself as well. And in that moment, as opposed to me like saying, don't attack the squirrel, squirrel, I stopped and acknowledged this exchange of energy. And to me, that brought forth an awakening within me, an awareness, a remembrance of this interconnectedness that we all share. And that I got to play a role in the creative process of the experience that was about to unfold in my life. You know, I was taught, as I'm sure so many of us were, in 20th century metaphysics, that we are the person that creates our reality. And that if we were to dream it and believe it and see it, that it was really all about us, period. And I've come to realize that that's not the case. We play a vital role in this co-creative process, and that as you and I are to move into the dream it, believe it, see it part of our life and whatever is to come in our life, that we must understand that our role in this creative process is how we literally think, how we act, how we react, how we emote, how we engage in, how we respond, and how we forgive ourselves on the journey of life itself. It's about playing our role of creation, of developing consciousness, of creating an awareness of awareness, to actually question, contemplate, affirm, embrace, experiment with what we believe the power, God to be, the power of love, and to be open to that journey of questioning, contemplating, affirming, embracing, letting go, experimenting, right? And then to consistently dedicate and rededicate ourselves to a deeper relationship of surrendering to the creative principle of life, and then get really clear as to what our job is and what its job is. Last week, as I spoke about surrendering, one of our congregants came up and said, she said, I'm confused about this. Does this mean that we just need to let it all go and not pay attention to our thinking? And I said, no, that's not what it means. But what it does mean is to surrender to the force of energy of creation in life so that it may do its, if it is reflecting our state of being, surrendering is important to show that in our consciousness, not show it, show ourselves, in consciousness that we trust that it is doing its part. Because it responds and reflects our consciousness, it's that level of consciousness that's important that then shows up in our life. Trusting that all makes sense. What it's important for us to do is to, well, it will make sense because our role here is to realize and then accept and then realize. Realize meaning have an awareness and acceptance of that the creative principle of life is always doing its part. Just as we as humans believe that the sun is always setting and the sun is always rising. When I say believe it, meaning that it's not rising or setting, we are moving. The earth is moving. Today I invite each one of us to begin to remember that for you and I to experience that which we truly desire in life, which I believe is always both a transformation of conditions and new physical thing, we must first consciously do our part. And I also believe that ultimately we're not looking at life regarding a transformation of things. We're looking for a transformation of consciousness, an evolution of awareness, of a movement in mind that is more deeply realized and deeply affirmed and deeply secure of the journey of life itself and the ever-changing aspect of conditions and where we desire to be in our state of mind as to how we show up. It's for us to begin to take full responsibility for our part in this process without judgment or criticism, and to continue to realize that we are a vital piece, but only one part of the equation of creation. Now, for many of us, I know that what I'm talking about today is not new information, but I think it's important that we hear it again. And of course, we're hearing it with a new consciousness. We're hearing it with a consciousness that has never existed before, meaning that it's the first time we're in this space and time continuum, and things have unfolded in our life that have happened since the last time we heard this. even if that was last week or yesterday or 30 years ago. What I invite us all to do today is to engage in having a greater sense of faith, the faith of God, that assurance that good is happening through us, to open up to a new perspective in this creation equation. Dr. Holmes, in one of my favorite quotes of his, says, "We should all come to consider the law and the spirit as friends and think of them as such. In this way, we shall gradually go from good to more good and from peace to greater peace. This is the natural unfoldment of reality through the human. We should expect the best and so live that the best may become a part of our experience." He's not speaking of the best in the sense of Louis Vuitton luggage or caviar on toast, or even, as Dr. Walker used to say, I require cream in my coffee. He's also not saying exclude those things. What he's saying is our expectation of the best framework of mind is what we're called to own, to participate in, to allow, to be, and then to surrender to that law of life that brings it back in the form of experience. And for some of us, it may be caviar on toast points and Louis Vuitton luggage. And for some of us, it may be the joy of watching our four-legged spiritual offspring engage and interact with a squirrel. And it may be the awakening of the experience of the first time we've hired an assistant. And it may be knowing that deep within us is the innate nature of perfect health. And it may be all of those things for all of us. It's important for us to remember that as we continue on this journey of life, that there is always a natural unfoldment of reality, Holmes calls it, happening through us. And that we experience our consciousness, the sum total of all that's taking place in our hearts, our souls, our minds, our beings, in form, in physicality. And that our fears and our faith, if this is what it is, that can't change this natural unfoldment. It's always happening. This morning I invite each and every one of us, including me, to realize that we each, every moment we think, have equal opportunity ahead of us to participate in the conscious creation of our future right now. You might want to argue that, because you might want to put time and space into this equation of measuring whether or not we have equal opportunity. But that which we are participating in is not bound by time or space. It's a force of creation. And since we are beings of creation, it's unlimited by nature, we then have equal opportunity. So the question is, how does that make you feel? How does it tap into your beliefs? Does it make you want to use your mind in a different way? Potentially rely upon the law of life in a new way? It's very flowery for Holmes to say that he likes to look at the law and spirit as friends. We understand what he means. He's saying that they are compatible, that they are that which it's a perfect mesh for them. We all have those friends in life where we know it's a perfect mesh, and there's a journey of times when it's good and it's challenged, and yet it's comforting and it's feels natural. That's what he's speaking of, this natural interwoven aspect of these facets of the only thing there is. That the law and spirit as friends. Let's hear how he defines the law. Law is defined as mind in action. It's the creative medium of spirit. The creative medium of spirit is the great mental law of the universe. There's no limit to the law, but there does appear to be a limit to the human's understanding of it. And spirit, he defines, is that part of the human which enables them to know thyself. So what he's telling us here is that that which enables us to know ourselves as the thing itself is also in action. It is that which is in movement. It's a medium that is expressing and responding and corresponding. It's this fluid action, if you will, fluid movement of the thing being itself, manifesting itself, becoming form, giving us opportunity to respond to that, which then becomes more of an opportunity for us to know thyself. And then it then responds by corresponding unlimited. There's nothing it cannot manifest, if you will, which then it does that part, and we get the opportunity to once again review it. Today, let's all open up to maybe playing in the realm of this creativity, this creative expression of spirit and law as friends, and look at how we look at our friends and look at it in the same way. Do we treat our friends with respect? Do we treat them with reverence? Do we honor them with open communication? I know that as we all go through changes in our life, our friendships change as well. There's been a deep reverence in my life that I've made a commitment to myself, and I've shared this with you all before, that I desire to only be in friendships that I can be emotionally intimate with. I think that's important for us in life because it's how realness gets to be made manifest. If you and I were to make that commitment to the relationship that we have to spirit and law, imagine what we could indeed manifest in our life. What if we were to treat our relationship with the law and spirit in a way that is emotionally intimate, the most vulnerable we can be with it, and be open to see what is made manifest in our life? And we do that by having the willingness to be emotionally intimate with the thing itself. That then provides for us an opportunity to develop a deeper faith, and then moves us into the space of trusting this process enough to dream of what is possible. Because we each have equal creative opportunities before us, let's use them to dream into being that which we may have previously thought of as impossible, or potentially just haven't thought of at all in life. I know for each one of us that things have been made manifest in our lives that at some point we thought had been impossible. And then somewhere inside the crevices of our mind, we began to believe it as being possible. And then we strengthened our belief in that possibility. And then we strengthened our mindset of trusting the law. And we began to open to that which we previously thought as impossible as possible. And then before we knew it, it became a reality. That's the commitment and the willingness to do the dance of spiritual practice, of doing our spiritual work, of creating a foundation where we expect the best, that which is impossible becoming possible. And then we allow ourselves to know at a cellular level that we can experience anything that's possible within the realm of possibility. Today, I invite each of us to begin to open up, to think of what is possible in our life, individually, collectively, as a species, as a community, and to realize and remember that anything is possible within the realm of possibility. And that which we may dream for today is just an expanded awareness. It may be a greater sense of self. It may be a new way of expressing life. It may be a relationship. It may be health. It may be greater finances. But let's let today be the day that we open up to having a new thought in this new thought movement. You know, so often we're taught in this teaching, and I hear it all the time in the metaphysical communities, that we're here to be spiritual warriors. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be a warrior. I'd rather use the power of love, as we had sung to us by Todd a moment ago. I would rather be a spiritual lover. I would rather love myself into a greater experience, as opposed to believing that we need to go to battle to prove anything to anyone, anybody, any power. Because let's remember, there's only one power, the power of love, the self-givingness of spirit. Let's you and I open up today to love ourselves into this greater expression and experience that we desire to dream, to see, to be. Let's open up to having a greater experience of the divine by giving more and more of itself to itself, by cutting ourselves some slack, and by being less judgmental and just trusting what's of importance to us in life will make itself known, that we can then dream it and believe it and indeed see it. Let's remember today that it's the power of love that we want drawing us forward, not the power of fear. You've heard this quote from Dr. Marianne Williamson. I think she's a doctor. We'll give her that for the moment. From the book Return to Love. And it's been said many times, and I've read it to all of us so many times, about our deepest fears. But let's hear it today in the sense of what we have within us, the power, spirit, the law, as that which can propel us into this healing that is being called forth in this quote. She says that our deepest fears are not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. The power of love. It's our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Well, actually, who are you not to be that? For you are a child, an expression of the only thing there is. So playing small doesn't serve you in the world. And there's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in every one of us. And so as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. There's so many things that I get from this quote, but what I get from it right now in this moment as I open up to honoring that in others is, I watch, as you all know, I love to cook. I watch this cooking show called Sunday Dinners with Mimi. And it's this woman in South Carolina who's very Southern, and I know on some deep-rooted cellular level she reminds me of one of my grandmothers, and certainly the food that was cooked there. And I'm subscribed to her on YouTube, and it pops up, and everything that she makes has either cream of chicken soup in it or cream cheese. But at the end of every one of her videos, she always says, "Shine for Jesus." And that has annoyed me until this moment. My spiritual awakening just is that that's the light in her. That she's shining, and she's doing that with great faith. And she's doing it so that it gives us all permission to do it ourselves. So today, let's you and I open up to the healing that I just had in a way to being this child of God, of letting our light shine, of giving permission for others to let theirs shine as well. And to do that in a way that it's not only honoring of the power, of the thing, of that within each other, but it also creates a state of life, a state of opportunity for us that's not in battle. When I was getting annoyed by Shine for Jesus, by Mimi in the kitchen, it was creating angst within me. That is being at battle. When I open up and honor that within her, I feel the love within me. That's being a spiritual lover. And so today, as we all move into a very graceful way of opening up to being a spiritual lover and opening up to the opportunities to dream, to see, to believe what is possible in our life, let's do it with ease. Let's do it with love. And let's do it also while evolving into a higher framework of consciousness. Let's not only let our light shine, but honor it in others. Thanks for joining us today. I honor you for where you're at exactly in your life right now. Thank you. And namaste. Todd's going to come back and sing another song for us that's going to continue this message of empowerment.
When it rains, it pours, but you didn't even notice. It ain't raining anymore. It's hard to breathe when all you know is the struggle of staying above the rising water line. Well, the sky is finally open, the rain and wind stop blowing, but you're stuck out in the same old storm again. You hold tight to your umbrella, darling, I'm just trying to tell you that there's always been a rainbow hanging over your head. If you could see what I see, you'd be blinded by the colors, the yellow, red, and orange, and green, and at least a million others. So tie up your boat, take off your coat, and take a look around. 'Cause the sky is finally opened, the rain and wind stop blowing, but you're stuck out in the same old storm again. You hold tight to your umbrella, darling, I'm just trying to tell ya that there's always been a rainbow hanging over your head. So tie up your boat, take off your coat, take a look around. 'Cause the sky is finally open, the rain and wind stop blowing, but you're stuck out in the same old storm again. Let go of your umbrella, darling, I'm just trying to tell ya that there's always been a rainbow hanging over your head. Hey, it'll all be alright.
I just love that song.
I do too.
It's just amazing. You said it's originally done by Casey Musgraves.
Casey Musgraves, yeah.
It's so wonderful, and it's so apropos for what we've shared today, because it helps us get that new perspective. But what I think is the best part of it is we began the service talking about taking in gold, through Namaste, and we know that at the end of the rainbow is a pot of gold. So it's all full circle. That's that trusting of.
I love how we tied it all together today. It's so
We
good.
didn't tie it together. Spirit did it.
There we go. We
Right?
can't take responsibility for it,
We
yes.
didn't plan all that. We played our role in it, but it all comes together. So, Todd, thank you so much for being here today. I know you've got one last song. We're actually going to close out with that song, Love Is My Decision. But thank you for being here, and welcome back to your home.
Thank you.
Had a fabulous summer, and I honor you for where you're at, and get some rest, and honor your soul and some restoration, and Make sure you go get a facial and a massage and some private time and just do all of that. You deserve it. You've had a big
Sorry, I will take those directives. Yes.
So thank you for being here today. Thank you for being here today. A big
Thanks. It's
thank
always nice to be with you guys. Thank
for
you.
being here today on YouTube as well as through Zoom. Know that where you are is the perfection and the wholeness and the completeness of God, and we honor and acknowledge you just as you are. If you'd like to support our community financially, you can go to our website, csl-la.org, and click on Donate. You can also go to the app in the App Store. A reminder, please use our new app. It's just a fabulous tool for spiritual resources, as well as when you click on the homepage, there's a landing right there to click Donate to support us. Also know that you can mail in a check. Our address is 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California, 90036, I believe it is. All of that is on our website. We have a weekly e-newsletter that goes out first part of the week, every week. It's got all that information in it, as well as you can follow us through the various social media sites, Facebook, YouTube. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. There's a new thought text for the day that goes out each morning. That is quite wonderful. That is a spiritual inspiration. I picked my phone up because I'm going to share with you what today's was, in case you are not getting it or not reading it and would like to subscribe, or you would like to have friends subscribe and forward it to them. It's from Edwin Gaines, a great metaphysical teacher in Alabama who's about teaching the abundance of the universe. And it ties in with the closing of our message today. She says, "You came to the planet to play at the highest level that has ever been played. You came to play at the level of Gandhi, of Dr. Martin Luther King, of Mother Teresa, and at the level of every great and wise soul who ever made a difference. You came to play with the big kids." And so that's our text for the day. I invite you to make sure you're receiving those and use them. Wednesday morning midweek meditation takes place at 8:30 a.m. online through Zoom. It's a great way to anchor into the presence of the divine and to remember spiritual practice. Also, we'd like to request of our community members to share with us via email and or through text and or through the chat that's open in Zoom right now, the answer to the following question. We're looking on developing some promotional campaigns, and this would be great to have from each of you. And the question is, what is it that I like best about the CSL celebration service? I'm going to put that in the chat window right now, and if you all could respond to that now, that would be great. Or placeholder it somewhere in your life and send it via email and or text to us. That would be great as we continue on this journey. Thank you to Robert and to Travis who've supported us today on our journey through technology of audio and through video. So a huge thank you to you guys. So as we close out today, just wanted to give you all an update on our beloved Andy Belling, who has been moved to a rehab center out of the hospital. So he's doing really great. Progress is being made. So please continue to do spiritual mind treatment and affirmative healing for our one and only beloved Andy Belling. I'm going to close with a spiritual mind treatment, and then after that, Todd's going to sing us out with the song "Love Is My Decision." I invite you to sing along from where you are. And if you're on Zoom after that, you can stay on and we can say a brief hello to each other. And if you're on YouTube, at that point, we will bid you adieu into the greatness of your day. Please know with me that the power and the presence of God is making itself known by each one of us today. That we open up to a new perspective on that word. We allow the energy of the only thing there is to bring forth through us a new light, a new expression, a new belief that our dreams are indeed worthy of coming true because we're worthy of walking this planet and shining our light. That no matter what is unfolding in our life, today we see the rainbow that's above our head, which represents to each one of us the myriad of the rainbow in colors, the myriad of life that expresses itself, but all is of the one thing. As we open up and receive that pot of gold that's at the end, that pot of gold represents an acceptance of the power that exists within us. We call it love. We call it light. We call it peace. We call it power. We call it beauty. We call it joy. We also call it wisdom. And we call it you and we call it me. Let's call it into our being today and then give it back to the universe. It is indeed love. the self-givingness of spirit. May you continue to shine your light and to share your blessings and to remember that you are blessed just because you're here. Thank you and namaste. Todd's going to take us out.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, Source will show me how. Love is my decision. It's my decision right here, right now. Once I decide to change my mind, Source will show me how. Yes, love is my decision. It's my decision right here, right now.
And so it is. Peace and blessings. Peace out, everyone. Have a great day.